Peter Brian Hegseth, of Norwegian descent and born on June 6, 1980, is currently the 29th Secretary of Defense. Well, maybe not for long. The former Fox and Friends co-host and Minnesotan native earned his political background while enrolled at Princeton University. Not long after graduating, he was commissioned as second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. In 2012, he decided to run for the Senate, but lost. He also began working for Concern for America, an organization poised towards the objective of enacting the American dream for all people. But in 2016, he left the organization due to mismanagement and alcoholism. Fast forward past the perpetual groveling, and on November 24, 2024, Trump nominated Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. After having already jeopardized American national security once before, Pete Hegseth has put on full display his utter lack of wherewithal to maintain the position of Defense Secretary of the United States, as it's recently been uncovered that Pete Hegseth created another Signal group chat which consisted of sensitive information regarding the Houthis attack in Yemen. This group chat consisted of his brother, Phil Hegseth, his wife, Jennifer, and his lawyer. The response to this national security screw-up upon all his other screw-ups has been less than friendly. From disgruntled ex-employees exposed to the current dysfunction at the Pentagon, to Pete's job being on the line, it's been quite the week for American national security. Hi, my name is Francis. Welcome to the Crude Truth. Without further ado, I present to you the truth about Pete Hegseth. So, a couple of weeks ago, a magazine editor from The Atlantic was mistakenly added to a sensitive Signal group chat and granted full access to classified information on a military strike on the Houthis group in Yemen. Despite being a grave threat to our national security, this screw-up was mainly overlooked, despite critical backlash from Democrats and key firings and resignations of Pentagon officials. However, it turns out that another Signal group chat was created on Pete's personal phone, where his brother, wife, and lawyer were added. This breach of national security prompted many responses from both Democrats and Republicans, questioning whether he's suitable for the role of Secretary of Defense. It's also exposed the current dysfunction the Pentagon is undergoing and the irreversible damage it's dealing to the White House and Republicans' already slandered image. Pete's actions, while putting the American people's lives in grave danger, have also put his job at risk, with rumors blooming about his inevitable and permanent administrative leave, with some calling his resignation his patriotic duty. With all the backlash the former Fox and Friends host has been receiving, here's what he had to say.
About the Signal chat controversy.
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax. Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me. We're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, you know, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters. This group, this group right here, full of hoaxsters. Peddle anonymous sources from leakers with axes to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And when we know it, we know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm going to go roll some Easter eggs with my kids. Thank you very much.
If it isn't abundantly evident, Pete knows he screwed up. This is infinitesimally bigger than all the drunk in the office allegations, and despite his attempts to throw together a flurry diatribe of words to try and explain himself, the reality of our situation has become clear. Because Pete Hegseth bowed down to Trump on Fox and Friends, he was given clearance to become the Defense Secretary of the United States without any definitive experience, and this decision has begun to show its untimely rear. If you like the wick of the ticking time bomb of inadequacy and incompetence, you get this. You get an offense of which 1/10 of it were committed would be enough to land you in prison.
Operating procedure inside the Clinton Secretary of State office was to send emails that couldn't otherwise be printed to the maid to print them out of a secure area or from a secure area and then hand them off. Any security professional, military, government, or otherwise, would be fired on the spot for this type of conduct and criminally prosecuted for being so reckless with this kind of information. The fact that she wouldn't be held accountable for this, I think, blows the mind of anyone who's held our nation's secrets dear, who's had a top secret clearance like I have and others, who know that even one hiccup causes a problem, let alone a standard procedure like this.
The hypocrisy Pete Hegseth just exhibited in that clip there paints a clear and transparent picture on the type of man he is. A lackluster, incompetent, morally abhorrent individual. When given the job that requires the utmost of competency and mindfulness, couldn't muster up the ability to take care of his act. The job he was given to ensure the security and livelihood of 350 million Americans failed to wake him up to the burden of his obligation. And you think he's getting fired, right? Well, think again. Here's Trump's output on the situation.
Why do you even ask a question like that? We have recruitments that's at an all-time high, the spirit in the armed forces. Are you bringing up Signal again? I thought they gave that up 2 weeks ago.
There was a new report this weekend that you used it in a separate chat that included some family members.
It's all just the same old stuff from the media. That's an old one. Try finding something new.
From that clip there, it seems clear that Trump has no intention of firing Pete Hegseth. I mean, it's not that Trump's not one to contract his personal beliefs and apply deference to those who bolster his ego, but who am I to talk? The clapback from Democrats has been outspoken, calling for Hegseth's firing.
That this guy can't be trusted in all aspects of his personal life. He's professionally totally untrustworthy, completely unqualified to do this job, and he himself has become a danger to the national security of the United States.
Will Pete Hegseth be fired from his job as Secretary of Defense of the United States? We don't know for sure. From what Trump has said and from what those around him have said, it seems unlikely. And with there being no substantial legal action taken against him, it all but goes to strengthen the possibility that he might not be fired. Nonetheless, this incident just goes to accentuate the cracks forming within the Trump administration. It shows us that the Trump administration, just like any other administration, relies upon the structural soundness of its members. From Elon being expected to leave early June and Pete Hegseth's utter incompetence, the framework of the Trump administration is being eroded as we speak, which makes it ever the more easy to call them out on it. Trump and his team are far from perfect, and when we point it out, it becomes a heck of a lot easier to distinguish right from wrong and to fight for it. Guys, if you enjoyed that video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are almost to 300 subscribers. While you're at it, make sure to leave a like and comment down below what videos you'd like to see and how I can improve my videos. It's been Francis, and I'll see you in the next video with the truth. The crude truth.